Hello again. Welcome to a special edition of CropLife Retail Week, our last video for calendar year 2022. And this video will be airing on New Year's Eve. So, again, like I say, our last video for the year. And I'm joined, of course, by Lara Sowinski. And Laura, from the looks of it, you're already on your way to a party because you're in the car, coat in hand, and or actually being on you, but nonetheless, looks like you're ready to go someplace and have some fun. I hope that is indeed the case.
Yeah, thank you. Ready to wrap up this year on a high note and jump into the next year with both feet.
Yes, yes, amen. Both of us, yes. So I thought, given the fact this is our last video for this year, 2022, that we can maybe discuss a little bit about what we think some of the top stories for ag retail and agriculture in general have been for this year. And actually, since I brought up the topic, I will start. And this ties back to something that we recently released, and that was, of course, our 2022 CropLife 100 list. I am, for one, very amazed at how all the numbers played out. I know early in the year, back in January and February, I spent many a meeting and show attending talks from various experts talking about how supply chain issues and fertilizer prices were going to put the kibosh on pretty much anything sales wise going into the spring. And I know there were a lot of people that were sounding alarm bells, but in the end, I guess the revenue stream was high enough that basically application happened, crop inputs were bought and applied to fields. And when we released the numbers for our CropLife 100, lo and behold, the marketplace had grown to about $46 billion in market value. And that was almost an $11 billion increase from 2021, which is amazing. And just to put into some perspective, I know a good friend, Ken Zuckerberg, had asked me for some numbers going back about 20 years. And lo and behold, back in 2003, the entire CropLife 100 was only valued at $11 billion. And here in 2022, that was the market increase. And it was only 10 years ago that the market finally topped the 25 billion mark. And at the end of this year and going into next, we're approaching $50 billion for the top 100 ag retailers in the country. So I am frankly amazed that the numbers were as good as they were.
Yeah, I'm thinking while you're talking about how remarkable this year's numbers were, 2022's numbers. Likewise on and of course, my mind is always supply chain and shipping as it relates to ag. And not surprisingly, all of the global shipping lines, primarily the container shipping lines, but just about, bulk, break bulk, anything having to do with shipping. I think it kind of same thing, kind of blew it out of the park. No one's ever seen a year like, this last year, and combined with 2021, the last few years have been remarkable. What is really going to be remarkable is because there's been such a decline. What's 2023 going to hold? So, big question as we move into this year. But I don't think it's going to be the same with the ag retail sector. Do you have any thoughts on that as to whether we'll see a repeat this next year, or what's the outlook, do you think?
Well, I was going to say the one thing I have warned about is, again, the bar has now been set incredibly high. So I suspect that it won't be, I got to believe that you're not going to get 2 years in a row where 99 out of a 100 top 100 ag retailers are going to be able to say that their sales had increased year over year. I just, you don't get 99% success rates year after year after year. So I suspect it may not be as robust a year, but then again, even if it's slightly less than robust, that's still going to be a pretty darn good year. Like I say, pushing $50 billion total market value in 20 years time, versus what it was just over 10 back in 2001, 2002. That to me is frankly incredible. So we'll see how that pans out. So But the one other big trend I wanted to mention that I thought was really special. I know there's that old law about technology advances every 18 months so far from where it was just, a year and a half prior. And this past year, really, the technology sector for agriculture has gone gangbusters. You had the release of several new innovations. For one, of course, the John Deere See and Spray Ultimate, which just won the Product of the Year award from our CropLife Iron magazine. The ability to actually to identify and spot spray weeds in the field, going through the field at a couple miles an hour. Five years ago, that would have been unheard of. And the number of press releases the number of press releases I've received in the last month, maybe month and a half, talking about semi-autonomous vehicles, sprayers, spreaders coming into the marketplace, tractors, combines, harvesters. It is amazing to me how the technology has advanced, and I have a feeling that a year from now that we're going to be talking again about our big stories for 2023, and where we are today with the ag technology is probably going to be as far away from where we are going to be a year from now than we were like 10 years ago, relatively speaking. So, and I know that, of course, for those folks who are interested, we have an event coming up here in Arizona, middle of January, the Vision Conference. We're going to be talking about, agriculture 4.0. And I got to believe the tech side of the equation is going to be a huge part of that. But maybe you can speak more to that, because I know you've done more of the pre-planning on that event.
Yeah, thanks, Eric. Indeed, harnessing the power of Ag 4.0. That's the theme of the 2023 Vision Conference, January 17 and 18 in Glendale, Arizona. And our keynote on day one is going to talk about the metaverse and how it relates to the ag space. So that almost seems like, again, even for those of us that have our finger on the pulse of what's going on with ag tech, like, wow, this is crazy. What do you mean? Tell me more. So super, super excited about this. I think that, again, you're right. 18 months almost seems like too long, because it seems like that timeline and the speed just goes faster and faster. So certainly an exciting time. Really excited. This will be my first Vision Conference, so I'm excited to get it underway here in a few weeks, and I'm sure I'll have plenty to come back with.
I'm sure we'll have a couple of video
so
clips.
We'll have to carve out some time here. Absolutely. Yeah. So thank you for that. Yeah, looking forward to it.
All right. Well, let's end the year hopefully on a high note. Laura, time for your favorite segment. Time for fun with numbers.
Why don't you give me a really easy one, like what year is it? And what year is right around the corner?
Oh, it's going to be a little more complicated than that, but hopefully you'll catch it.
Alrighty.
All right. So your number, it's a number range this week. So it's 160,000 to 180,000. And the unit you're looking at is barrels. So 160,000 to 180,000 barrels. Okay. And just FYI, a barrel's about 42 gallons. So.
Okay.
All right. So it's 160,000 to 180,000 barrels. Is that A, the amount increase in E15 blends expected in the U.S. by 2025? Is it B, the amount decrease in daily oil imports to the U.S. by 2025? Is it C, the amount of ethanol blends currently consumed annually by U.S. drivers? Or is it D, the amount of beer my family and friends collectively consumed over the Christmas holiday?
Well, if you combine your family with my family,
it'd be close.
I think we may actually, it'd be close. Wow, this is another, I'm going to go with C.
C. Oh, I am sorry. No, actually, you were sort of on the right track. The correct answer is B. This is a story I ran across where the EPA was talking about the renewable fuel standards that they're trying to set forth moving forward between now and 2025, and of course has to do a lot with the ethanol blends, the E15s, the E10s that are used in the U.S. And according to that story, the EPA is estimating that if the new standards go into place between now and middle of next year, by 2025, the U.S. will be able to reduce the daily oil imports by 160,000 to 180,000 barrels per day. So,
wow, that's a lot. That's sizable.
yes,
Good to
yes.
know.
And again, as of course, and since our friends who grow corn are a big contributor to any ethanol effort. I'm sure that the corn growers out there will be incredibly happy with this information. So, well, sorry you
Great.
couldn't go out the year on a high note, Laura, but again, 2023 we'll have plenty more chances to get this right going forward.
Exactly. There's always next year.
That's right. So from myself and all of us here at CropLife Magazine and Laura, of course, Happy New Year to everyone out there. We hope you had a great 2022, and hopefully 2023 will even be better for all of us. Thanks for joining us this week and this year, and we will see you again next week/next year. If you have questions or comments about today's episode of Retail Week, contact us by email or Twitter, or type your message in the comment section below. Your feedback is important to us. We will try our best to address your thoughts in next week's episode, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel.